Welcome back, Shalligators. We're gonna talk today about Jennifer Lopez's new thing. What is this thing? It's like a musical movie thing, a cinematic music journey through therapy on Amazon Prime. I don't know. It's a little bit confusing, but it is good. I watched this thing yesterday and I have a lot of thoughts. Mostly, am I Jennifer Lopez? Are a lot of us Jennifer Lopez? Because this is the thing. This musical thing, it's like the story of her addiction to love, basically, and her inability to be alone in a relationship, kind of set to the music of her new album, which, by the way, is like tanking. They just put it out on Spotify, I guess 2 weeks ago, and it's got like the lowest streams of any female pop star in history. It's got like 14,000 streams, which is bad. I feel like one of us could put an album out and it'd do a little bit better. And to be fair, the music is pretty mid. It's not great, but the message is good. So we're gonna break all that down and we're gonna talk about just like the issues of being maybe addicted to love. And listen, she's coming out with another thing in like a week or something, and it's the behind the scenes documentary of making this. I am just very confused, but that one is called The Greatest Love Story Never Told. So we're going to deal with that at the time. We're going to talk about these issues now. There might be some overlap. Fuck it. Screw it. We're going to do it anyway. But before we get started, just want to remind you guys that you can connect with me on passes.com. It's the new way to get in touch with me if you want some one-on-one advice. You can either get an audio note or you can get a little custom video. I'm averaging like 10 minutes on these things, like 10 minutes long. I'm just blah, 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 blah. I just never shut up. And we're talking about things from like in-laws to work to like paganism to exes. And there's a lot of you guys out there who are dealing with boys where it's basically like you're trying to date potential. Girl, I'm gonna drag you to motherfucking hell. I'm gonna drag you to hell about that. Don't worry, I can fix your life. I can fix your life. I can also fix your wardrobe if you're feeling a little in the dumpies. Join Exo Style Box. It is our new clothing rental subscription service where you can get up to, I think, 10 pieces a month. You can rotate and swap as many times as you want. You can keep pieces as long as you want. These are pieces that range anywhere from like $200 to $800. They're very nice. And the first month is free. You've got nothing to lose. Okay, let's talk J-Lo. I took notes. A lot of this was like cheesy, like the Heart Factory. She's like this worker in sort of this like Mad Max post-apocalyptic, very steampunk factory. And it's the Heart Factory. But it's, even when it's cheesy, she's still kind of like in on the joke. She's like, there's not enough rose petals. The petal meter is down. The heart's gonna break. And I'm like, oh, that's funny, you know. But she kind of starts this whole cinematic opera, this rock opera. One of you guys was like, it's giving R. Kelly Trapped in the Closet vibes. It's not that bad. I thought it was good. But she starts it off saying that when people asked me when I was little what I wanted to be when I grew up, I would always say, I wanted to be in love. And I was like, oh, fuck, here we go. Here we go. Because you know what? Me too. Like, yes, I obviously have big career goals. And yes, obviously Jennifer Lopez does too. And I think that's what's so interesting is so many of us alpha females, work is the easy part. It's like, well, of course I want to be ahead of industry and blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, yeah, of course. But what I wish for on those birthday candles, when I blow that dandelion fluff, when it's 11:11 and I make a wish, it's always love. It's always love. And that is sort of the narrative of this. So you have her like moving through life and in these like various toxic relationships. And the Greek chorus is sort of her zodiac council, like Post Malone, Kiki Palmer. By the way, can we talk about Kiki Palmer? Can she be in everything? I mean, can she be in everything? Can she read all the news? Oh shit, Putin done invaded. Bitch, I love her. I love the way she speaks. I love everything about her. Everything she says just sounds better than if anybody else said it, unless that person was Morgan Freeman. I love Kiki. But it's like all these cameos like Jane Fonda and Neil deGrasse Tyson, and they're her astrological counsel. And they're like, what is she doing now? Don't do that. He's a Leo. He's a Libra, whatever. And it's funny because a big connective thread of this thing is she's always looking for signs, you know? Oh, well, he's a this and I'm a that. And so that means we're going to get along. Oh, and it's a hummingbird. And if you see a hummingbird, well, that means that, you know, this is a sign from God that this interaction's perfect and it's meant to be, right? We do this. We do this. We do this. We are always looking for signs. I don't know about you. I am. And if love is what you want above all things, you get this. Like, it sounds crazy when other people say it. You're like, yikes, cringe. But then you find yourself in your own life doing this. It's meant to be. It's fated. And when things go wrong, it not only is disruptive from the standpoint of, wow, I loved that person and this didn't work out. It's disruptive from like a celestial standpoint. That not only can I not believe in this person or in this relationship, I don't know if I can believe in all these other higher powers. This sort of like invisible guideline that I have for my life means nothing, maybe. That it's just all bullshit. And through this sort of like journey in this thing, she comes to that very nihilistic place. It's like, there is no signs, there's no soulmates, fuck it. Everything's bad. Everything's bad and terrible. But on her way through this and this awakening and this realization, and it takes you through like weddings and stuff like that. It's really good. It's like really fun to watch. The dancing is incredible. You cannot believe this woman is 54. She moves like she's 24. She's an absolute weapon. But she's talking about how much she loves love. And her friends stage an intervention. And she's like, what is so wrong with wanting to share your life? Why do you people look at people like me like we're crazy? Why is that a crazy idea? Who wants to be alone? And she goes around calling out her friends. She's like, you go from one hookup to the next. You'd rather fight than have sex. You'd blah, 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 blah. And she's like, but I'm the crazy one because I'm out there trying and believing? And she said something else. I wrote it down. I know what they say about hopeless romantics, that we're weak, but it takes so much strength to keep believing. Wow. I started to cry. So I was like, J-Lo gets it. Hoo. It takes so much strength to keep believing, to keep putting yourself out there, to keep going on first dates and telling the basics and telling the hard shit over and over again and exposing yourself and having those Taylor Swift playlists right there in case things go belly up. It's hard. And yeah, the romantics are the weak ones. She just can't be alone. Like, that's easy? Like it's easy to, like J-Lo said, to keep putting yourself out there, to keep believing. Faith is difficult because everything around you will try to poke holes in faith. Life will constantly tell you you're stupid for your faith. And then life turns around and tells you, well, you're just supposed to have a lot of trust in things. Well, which is it? Am I stupid for believing in soulmates? Am I stupid for feeling that I want to be in love and I want to share my life with someone? Or am I just supposed to be flooded with trust all the time? Trust in what exactly? This resonates so hard with me as an alpha girl whose life is like perfect. I think we talked about this on Valentine's Day. Like, I've had friends or family say to me, like, I just hate that you are like defining happiness by whether or not you're in love with someone. And I'm like, okay, I don't do that. But if I did, I'm sorry, but that's the missing piece of my life though. I'm healthy. I have a great career. I have good friends. I have a great home. I travel. Like, everything else is good except for that. And if it was a deficiency in another category, if I was jobless but married or I was obese and, you know, if one of these categories was deficient, no one would think I was crazy for wanting to get a job or wanting to get in shape or wanting to make friends. But again, we're shamed for being like, I want to meet someone. It's like, oh, do you? Wow, you just can't be alone. Shut the fuck up. Yes, I can. Maybe at some point in my life, I'm just a little tired of it. An analogy. If I had a trust fund and I didn't have to work, and I'm like, you know what? I'd like to do something with my time. I wouldn't expect people to be like, wow, looks like you just can't be retired. No, I can. I just choose not to. It's kind of boring and repetitive. I would like to do something with my time. I would like to share my lifetime, my talent, my wisdom, my skills with the world somehow. I'm crazy for doing that. I'm crazy, huh? I'm weak, actually, for doing that. Okay, got it. It's a good thing to want to sit on my ass all day long. Interesting. That's exactly the messaging you get when you want to find a partner. That's exactly the messaging. And you might be sitting here thinking, well, I don't know what house you grew up in, and I don't know what friends you and J-Lo have, but people are telling me the opposite at all times, that I'm nothing without a partner. Yeah. No, they tell me that too. That's the fucked up part about it. That's the fucked up part about it. It's like the same people who are going to look at you like, oh, she's just alone, are the ones who are going to be like, oh, there's a wedding dress on her vision board. Cringe monster. They're the ones who are going to say both of these things. And my point is, fuck them. Like, fuck them. You're allowed to want what you want. And that can change, and it can change back. And again, I'm so tired of this idea that, like, if you want to meet someone, you're somehow not good on your own. Yes, there's a lot of us out there who are constantly taught that we're nothing without a partner. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. There are a lot of us also, us alpha females, who are taught that it's like, you just can't be by yourself. Okay. And the conclusion Jennifer Lopez reaches is that's kind of right. That's kind of right. Now, J-Lo's an extreme case because she's been married 4 times. I was talking with one of my business chicks today, one of my strategists, and she's like, at least 4 people wanted to marry her. I was like, bro, right? That was my takeaway. It's like, where are my 4 marriages? I've only had 1. That's a little embarrassing. Only 1 person I've dated has proposed. Where are all my engagement rings? You know, and it's like, I found myself like processing this J-Lo thing with a little bit of jealousy. It's like, it kind of seems like every man she dates would marry her. That's not been my experience. So on one hand, how can you blame her for always being in a relationship? The men are making it pretty enticing. They seem pretty devoted until they're not, until things fall apart. And she goes through these kind of like fake therapy sessions, rapid fire with her, like, you know, succession of fake husbands. And their criticism of her is, you treat me like I'm an employee. I'm just another extension of your work. I'm like this thing in the house. I'm just this thing you've collected, like this little trophy thing on the mantle. And she's like, why can't you just be happy? I just want to be happy. And holy moly, I got that too. I felt that too. Because again, if you're a career woman, the things they love are the things they end up hating. You're so driven. You just never know when to just relax, do you? You're so smart and so sassy. You always got something to say, huh? It's difficult for us to turn off business mode and to be soft and to connect with someone in that way. And this is what I did this year for Eva Week in October, was an entire course on this, by the way. And if you want to watch it, it's in the Shallon. The link is below. But of how hard this is to switch out of our masculine and just be like, okay, I just want to be the girl. I want to be like, not submissive, but like relaxed in my feminine and let you be the masculine. That's really, really tough. It's tough. It takes a lot of trust. Oh, it takes a lot of trust. The trust that we're supposed to cultivate, but also not, because that's weak and embarrassing if we want to be in a relationship all the time. Because we're supposed to be above that. That's for weaklings. Love is for the weak. So my reward for being an alpha female and working my ass off is I have to die alone? Oh, okay, got it. Sorry. I didn't know that. Because that's not the outcome for men. And that's not the outcome for weak women. So strong women get nothing. But strong men and weak women, perfect partnership. I don't know if there's even advice in this video today. I think I just need to like ramble through this. I fired my therapist, so you guys are it. There's another part in the video where she said, I wrote this down too. I used to think it was everybody else who was broken, but now I see that it's me. Because her friends kind of forced her to go to like Love Addicts Anonymous. And she's like, I don't even know what this is. And she has that realization that like, I'm the one who doesn't know how to let people in. I'm the one who doesn't really know how to connect. And I'm sorry if this is just like full of spoilers. It's really not a huge plot driven thing. But there's a scene later when she's like talking to her inner child, like she's like describing a dream. And it's like this little girl who comes up to her and it's her. And she's like, the little girl's like, I never got enough love. And JLo's like, from mom and dad? And the girl's like, no, from you. And I loved this. I loved this because for a few reasons. Number one, it doesn't throw the parents under the bus. We can't blame our parents for everything. You know, we really, yeah, our parents fuck us up in a variety of ways, but at some point we take it over. When I look at the people in my life who are so like dysfunctional or toxic or even just run of the mill kind of garbage sprinkles, that's what I am, garbage sprinkles. They haven't been under their parents' control for a very long time. They have absolutely taken over the toxicity bandwagon. Like they're driving that train. They're the one hurting themselves. I had this conversation with a boy today and we were talking about like literally like being hurt. And he's like a former soldier. I was like, there was a time in your life when other people were hurting you. Baby, you have taken that over now. Like that's all you. You are the architect of your misfortune. Nobody else. He's like, I know that. But we all are. And so I appreciated that moment where she's like, no, it's not mom and dad. It's me. And the little girl's like, you loved everyone else but me. You loved everyone but me. And I was like, it was so powerful. I'm telling you, this movie was like a therapy session. And again, the music was kind of mid. The music was very forgettable to me, which is a shame. Like someone said, it kind of sounds like Ariana Grande's like B-side rejects, a little bit. But the whole thing was like incredible. I thought it was amazing and so entertaining and well done. And the message, like even if you don't have these issues and it won't resonate, just the dancing is fucking sick. It's crazy. It's so cool. But thinking about that, you loved everyone else but me. And that is part of her awakening of like, it wasn't these men who were broken. It was me. It was me. And like, if they were broken, that didn't stop me. And if they were broken, they were going to hurt me. They were going to lie to me. Who cares? That's fine. I have an unlimited amount of love for them. Do I have any for myself to protect myself from these things and to see red flags and to take notes from my friends? Nope. Nope. All that love has got to go to other people because I have to get love. I have to be loved. Who am I without that love? Who am I without a partner? And that's kind of the place she gets to. It's like, you know what? I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay on my own. I would love to get to that place. I don't know. Do we though? This is what's difficult. This is what's tough. Is I think on some level, maybe, we tell ourselves that like, if I really get good with myself, then I won't ever really be able to meet someone. I'm going to be too good on my own. And you know what? That's not a crazy fear. It really isn't. I look at my life and just like J-Lo, I look back on the recent relationships I've had and it's like, it wasn't always them. It was my inability to compromise, to let someone in, to be vulnerable, like really, and soft. And if we fought to try to make things better and come from a place of collaboration, not from a place of victory. Like, yeah, there were things they were doing, but I was doing just as many, if not more bad things to create the demise of these relationships. And part of that is because I'm so good on my own. So it's tough to think like, okay, I can find a middle ground where I'm still very open to meeting someone, but I'm also okay if I don't. Because who wants to think, okay, I'm great without love in my life? Like what a horrible doom to face down. I think we're worried it becomes prophecy. You know? I'm okay if I never get a job. You're probably not. I'm okay if I stay 400 pounds. No, you won't be. Like, we can see that, like, no, you should probably do something about that. I'm okay if I never make friends again. I think you should want to make friends. You know, of course you'll make friends if you try. You know, of course there's people out there who are going to love you. So yeah, does that count for love? How do we genuinely be okay on our own and not monkey vine from relationship to relationship? Or fuck it, man, let's be honest, situationship to situationship. If only they were all relationships. Like, great. At least I could be like, well, they were successful for a time, and when they were no longer successful, I got out. That's most of our experience is not that. It's a situationship to situationship. It's fuckboy to fuckboy, broken heart to broken heart, wasted time to wasted time. How do we get out of that loop? If you're in the Shallon, you've watched me go through this, and it has been like a year-long process. And I'm not saying I've not dated anyone. I have. I've fallen in love and I've done all these things, but it's different. The shifts I've noticed in myself are different, and I'll tell you what they are. I allow myself to get bored. And I don't mean like existentially, like I'm bored without a partner. I mean like bored in my home at night. Bored. When I'm drinking tea and I'm reading a book and I'm just like, and I close the book and I open Snapchat and I put Snapchat back down and I read a little bit more and then I open Instagram and what's this person doing? And I want to I have this like tick to reach out and get attention and talk to a boy. And maybe I'll just download Tinder again and Just kidding. I've been banned from Tinder because I was like trolling guys and putting it on Instagram. It was so worth it. But it's these little these little urges. The way a drug addict would have an urge. A food addict would have an urge. A smoker would be like, just one puff, just one sip, just one bite, just one this. And when I look at it like that, the concept of being a love addict is not insane. It's not crazy. It's like, oh, well, if I look at the pattern, it's just a different vice. It's just a different vice. And what it is not like, if I Snapchat my ex and he writes back, that's love. It's a dopamine hit, first of all, and it's a distraction. It's like my mind is a dog that's been left home in the house. I know, Cowboy's like, it's me! That's been left in the house and it's just chewing up the fucking furniture because it doesn't know what else to do. And it's like, it's anxious and it's bored and it needs a task. And love seems like the easy one. Boy attention seems like the easy one. The text, fuck it, even the fighting, something. It's a getaway car. It's something to jump into and race away from where I'm at. The big question is, a getaway car from what? Like, I'm getting like emotional. Like, from what? I don't know. If there's anyone who should not need a getaway car, I feel like it'd be me. I love my life, you know? I do. I have freedom. This job is like so incredibly fulfilling and stimulating. There's no autopilot days, let me tell you. It's wonderful. I feel connected to you guys. I travel. I have friends. I like how my body looks. Not today, but usually. What the fuck am I running from? I don't know. And you might not know either. And it sounds crazy. Like, how do you not know? How do you not know? Are we running just to run? Are we afraid of getting bored? And I feel like that might be kind of my issue. Like I was bored as a child. I was bored and I was isolated. And to me, that's like the kiss of death. And so that's been my journey, the girls in Shallon Trash have watched, of like, when I have a broken heart, I don't immediately get on a plane. Like that's, when I say I run, I run. I get out. I don't immediately eat anymore. I don't pour a drink. I don't call an ex. I sit in it. I sit in the dumb bullshit. I sit in the boredom. I sit in the fucking boredom. And as those minutes tick by, when I'm sitting there with my stupid tea and my dumb book, have you guys read Fourth Wing? I'm reading Iron Flame. Can anyone explain this plot to me? Who are the Poromish and what is a luminary? Is it different than a ward? I'm in it for the sex. I'm so sorry. If you guys haven't read these books, you're like, I think she's having a stroke right now. She's not making any sense. I know, the book doesn't make any sense. Anyway, who is Takaris? Is that the king? Is that Torai? I don't know. I don't know who these, I'm in it for the sex. When I'm reading my book and it's like, I feel those ticks, those like ticks of boredom, I literally sometimes will have to breathe through them. I'll get up, I'll walk around, I'll open a soda water, I'll stretch. It's like anything to just have that little like, that tick pass because I have to prove to myself that it's not going to kill me. And I think urges feel like they will. And I know this probably all sounds a little too granular. It's like, so wait, I'm a love addict and the way through this is like opening a soda water and reading a book. I don't know, dude. Sometimes, what would you tell a drug addict who's like, I got to go out. I got to go to the bar. You'd be like, you don't, man. You can stay home. You can stay home. It's going to be okay. World's not going to end because you stayed in tonight. You don't need those cookies. You don't need to Snapchat that picture of your tits to your ex. You don't need to do it. What would happen if you didn't? What would happen if you just didn't get in that getaway car and you just lived with the consequences of not scratching that itch? Would it honestly kill you? Would it kill you? And some moments it feels like it will. But you know what? It's progress, not perfection. Last week, after I told you guys I broke up with my boyfriend before Valentine's Day. And I was thinking about sitting in here in my house, sober, I meant single, but also sober, and morose on Valentine's Day. I was like, why would I do that? Let's go home and see my mom in California. And that's what I did. And I didn't feel like I was like running because there have been so many other times I didn't. There have been so many times I didn't, that when I did get on that plane, it wasn't flight, it was more purposeful. And I felt okay doing it. You know, it's like, I'm not running from my feelings. I'm still going to feel those feelings. And you know what? When I was out in California, I didn't really do anything different than I would have done here. Like went out to eat, creeped around to the mall, and just like sat in the evening and drank my tea and read my book. I just did it in a different environment. So it's like, I'm building these muscles. And this is the thing with addiction. Everyone's like, well, just stop doing it. I know not everyone says that. I stopped doing that. I'm extremely unsympathetic to addicts. I'm like, have you tried not doing drugs? No, I know you tried doing the drugs. Yeah, no, I know that. Have you tried the opposite of that? Because your life is a garbage fire. Mm-hmm. And I think the reason I'm so unsympathetic is because I'm looking at myself. The things we hate in others are what we hate in ourselves. Part of it's jealousy. Oh, you get to just be out here stuffed to the gills with pills and coke and careening around, and that's okay. But I get shredded when I'm like, I'm in love again. Like, really? Okay. Why do you get to do that and I don't? So that is something I am trying to be aware of. But with an addict, my point is, things take time. It's a day by day, minute by minute, craving by craving thing that you just work through and conquer. And I will tell you the other hack, you keep yourself busy as fuck. The quiet nights are the enemy. Waking up every morning at 4:30 and spiraling like I do for 45 minutes every single day, that's difficult. Thank God it's like not an appropriate hour to text people. But like, there's those quiet moments that are going to be when the urges creep in, because they see they're opening. You're tired, quiet, there's no one around. You're like, hey, here I am. Do something dumb. Snapchat your tits. But when I can look at my life and I'm like, no, I've kept the rest of my life positively busy. I'm not just doing busy work. I'm not the dog chewing the furniture. Well, it's busy. No, I'm doing positive busy things. I'm working out. I'm organizing my, you don't even want to see my office right now. Just don't look beyond here. By the way, I'm trying to redo this after Valentine's Day and it's very much in a state of flux. I'm not too psyched on it. I don't know what to do with this. If you have suggestions, I'm all ears. Should I take this down? But then what would I put on this wall? Nothing? I don't know. When I can keep my mind positively busy, I'm listening to podcasts because sometimes I get really sad in the car and then my mindset just tanks. And by the time I get home, I'm like thinking about sending deranged voice notes to everyone I've ever loved. Okay, I can head that off at the pass by listening to a stimulating podcast. And these sound dumb. They sound like they're not going to move the needle. They do. Or you might be saying, well, no, it sounds like that's just another kind of getaway car. No, but those are positive ones. If your brain needs a lot of stimulation, because if not, it's going to go to these sad places, these addiction places, give it positive stimulation. What person out there can just be like, and just sit and stare? Either they're very, very smart or they are very, very dumb. It's like the lifeguard principle. Every lifeguard I know is either barely literate or they're fucking geniuses, because those are the only two kinds of people who can just sit trapped inside their brain for like 8 hours staring at the ocean, thinking of life's mysteries. For most of us, we need more stimulation than this. So give it to your brain. Give it to your brain. I try to keep my schedule jam-packed. And in fact, when I will look, dropped my phone. When I will look at my schedule and it's like, no more events for the day, it tells me that. I'm like, danger, danger, danger. The happiest days are the full days. The happiest days in my week are when the calendar is full because I don't have time to spiral. And then in those little moments where like the addiction thing is creeping in, you should text him something because aren't you mad about something? Do you want to get mad about something? I feel like there's something you can get mad about. I have more strength to fight it off because I haven't been fighting it off all day. I haven't been thinking about that guy or that breakup or that thing that he could have done that was different than the way he did it. I don't have the bandwidth. I'm not saying this is a perfect solution. Ideally, we would all be in this Zen lifeguard thing where it's like, I can have nothing on the calendar and these thoughts are not disruptive. Okay. Good for you, Siddhartha. The rest of us might need some help. So I don't know. Did everything I say about this J-Lo movie, opera, whatever it was, or if you've watched it, did this resonate with you also? Did this like kind of hit? Are you a woman who from the outside has it all, but there's that component that's missing? Is that harder or easier? For some people, it's easier. They're like, listen, my life is fantastic. My life is great. So what? I don't have a man. Who cares? I'm not kidding you. My sex drive is so high. It's very difficult for me to get to that place of like, who cares? I care. I care. It has ruined my life. Like, it's ruined my life. Anyway, but are you like, you know what? Yeah, everything is amazing. It's fine if I'm single. Or are you the opposite? You're like, why is everything in my life amazing? And this one part is so difficult. If you're of that mindset, I'm telling you, Evil Week from this past year, the most recent Evil Week, is going to be your guiding light. That is exactly who I made it for. Because it means we're too much in our masculine and we don't know how to sit back and receive the kind of love we want into our life. It's difficult, but it is, like I was saying, it is a series of behaviors. And I know what they are. And me creating that content and doing that whole course was for myself also. It was like therapeutic for me. And because I've been going through it for the past year, and like workshopping all this in my own life, I can tell you firsthand what works and what doesn't. So it's in the link below. Yeah, it's very, very helpful. So definitely check that out. And tell me what you think of this. As you've listened to this video, are you like, I feel like I could be a love addict. This is not like a crazy concept. I feel like it's maybe more resonant than I would like it to be. So you guys let me know, what is your getaway car driving you away from? What is that rebound really helping you avoid? Let's talk about it. Let's get deep about this. Let's get deep about this. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. I'm excited for JLo's documentary thing to come out. It feels like it's going to be the deeper dive into this, like with less music, but it's her making this. And the whole thing was like very cathartic, it seemed, and therapeutic. And she's like barfing out her entire pathology. And I think she's going to go way deeper into that, which I can't wait for, because now that I realize I am Jennifer Lopez with a different ass, I am here for all of this. And when that one comes out, we're going to talk about like how to stay a bad bitch no matter how old you get. I might even do a few videos on that, because honestly, I think there's just going to be so much in there that's going to be like great. We're all going to get something out of it, whether or not you love JLo or not. She is going on tour, and I'll tell you, I saw her on tour when she was pregnant, because I remember I broke the story, because like her dress blew up and you could see the bump and no one had broken the story. So that was like, I don't know, a decade ago, more. God. She puts on a hell of a show. She puts on a hell of a show. And her old school stuff, you don't realize you know every single song. She's great. So yeah, go see her. It's fun. This was not paid for by JLo. This is not like a big old JLo ad. I just feel a lot of vibes with her today. Okay, I will see you later, Shalligators. And like I said, if you want some one-on-one advice, head to Passes, and I got you, girl. I'll see you later. Mwah!